All right. All right. So, was this shelf 4 of the large size fiction? Part 3. This is a great book. Gogol, big early influence on Dostoevsky. Brought some realism and class consciousness to Russian literature. Was just a good writer. Probably brought some of the symbolic stuff. He also created this great technique, the Gogolian metaphor. I love it. It's where you start describing something as a metaphor and then you just go off with the metaphor. Like, the sky was as blue as a Prussian soldier's uniform, and then it's pages about this soldier. Like, wait, what? He's great. So interesting. Good writer. But this book is an unfinished work. It's a funny, interesting story. This guy's trying to own as many serfs as possible in Tsarist Russia, but not real serfs, just ones that died whose names are still on the books, colloquially known as dead souls. He died before it was done, and it feels like it. The other book this reminds me of is Natochka Nezvanova by Dostoevsky, which is his unfinished novel. And when you get to the end of an unfinished novel, it's a real ripped-off feeling. You really are like, no, what happens? You know, especially if it's a good one. And this one is a classic-looking edition. Look who we find again. This well-designed, well-selected book. Beautiful. That's nice. I think I've seen this cover made into a poster at Barnes & Noble. That look good. Like on canvas, printed. Good book. You gotta read it. You gotta read all the Russian greats. I'm telling you, there was something going on right then. Their 1860s were like America's 1960s. And just a time of real change and unrest and ideology, and fascinating. Just so much great work came out of those years. After reading Human Smoke, I was like, well, I'm reading all the Nicholson Baker. And this was his newest at the time, Checkpoint. It's kind of an interesting book. Let me see if I can remember. It's about this guy who wants to assassinate George W. Bush. And he's explaining what he's going to do to a friend. And it's weird. It's like full of liberal criticisms of George W. Bush, but then he's also like really anti-abortion. So it's kind of an interesting character that, from interviews, I think mirrors a lot of Nicholson Baker's own perspectives. He's a Quaker, if I recall correctly. But I remember kind of enjoying this book for what it is. You know, like, not every book has to be War and Peace. There's something really satisfying about a shorter work sometimes. Oh man, this guy, in my opinion, is the poet of Albuquerque. He really is. He's like, he writes so well about this area. He's got deep history here. He's got a memoir too I haven't read that I want to read, but some of his poems are so good. And some of his poems are about like really hyper local stuff that I appreciate on an extra level. Like getting stuck in northbound traffic on Eubank near the base around 5 o'clock. He's got a poem that starts off with that. I'm like, I've been in that situation. I used to work at out of the New Mexico School for the Blind over there. Anyway, and I would always get stuck in that base traffic leaving. Oh my gosh. One time I found a single working payphone at a gas station right on the edge of the base, and I Instagrammed about it, and I was like, I bet the government keeps it active for secret stuff. And the next day it was deactivated. Check that out. Introduction by Denise Levertov. She's so good. Poetry's good. It's good to have poetry. Arthur Miller, Death of a Salesman. I think I read that in high school. Strange, young people reading angsty middle-aged stories. I like the Dan Byrne lyric in a song. Death of a Salesman is my favorite play. I think I like this book's idea better than I like its execution, but it's Kurt Vonnegut, and I think I'm slowly building up a complete library of him. I recently, at this wilderness camp east of Albuquerque, lived in a chain of cabins, in one cabin of this chain, that was designed by Kurt Vonnegut Sr., his dad, so that his son, Kurt Vonnegut Jr., could attend the same camp. And Kurt Vonnegut dedicated Galapagos to the founder of that camp, Hillis Howie. And it was really cool. It felt like connected with Vonnegut in an interesting way. Oh yeah, this place totally would have given him those humanist leanings and so on, you know? Real, like, happy camp. This book's going to be cool, and I know so little about it. It's like going to a movie not knowing anything about it. The Immense Journey by Lauren Isley. It's probably some far out nature writing. Castaneda adjacent. I know he said the quote, "I love all things that flow," and he's written a lot about water. It's always quoted in books about Glen Canyon. The Immense Journey by Lauren Isley. Yeah, it's about nature. But it's good. It's weird. Everyone knows the opening of this book. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. But who's actually read it? Read it a long time ago. I feel like my generation, the Xennials, I do not want to pronounce it Zennial. That generation was the last to kind of grow up with books, just reading whatever was out there. Like, there were books for younger readers around, but we just read whatever was on our family's bookcases. And the library was full of classics and so on. Now it's all like series and like in second grade, I'd be like, I guess I'm reading Robinson Crusoe. I have not read this novel called English Creek by Ivan Doig, but I read his memoir, This House of Sky, I think twice, and it's just one of the greatest memoirs ever written. It's incredible. If you want an awesome, like, father-son gift or parent-child gift, that's a very good book. Wow, that book's like magic. You know what's a great, believable story? When Ivan Doig turned that book in to his editor, they didn't make any changes. That's incredible. I think he said they found like a typo. That was it. Other than that, it was like, no, this is perfect. Look, contemporary American fiction, Penguin. 1939 set, and a glowing quote from Wallace Stegner. William Burroughs, The Soft Machine. A book I've read that I don't much remember, but I remember it being experimental and cool. Look, this is like identical design to a copy of Generation X I've had. Douglas Copeland. Burroughs is the greatest satirical writer since Jonathan Swift, Jack Kerouac. Yeah, well, you guys were like pals. Burroughs, of course, a controversial figure who, I believe, accidentally shot his wife. Accidentally? I mean, Naked Lunch is crazy. The movie's crazy, too. A shortened, what's it called? Modern prose version of the Indian epic, the Ramayana, by R.K. Narayan. Yeah. Love mythology. The greatest of all Indian epics, one of the world's supreme masterpieces of storytelling. Sweeping tale of abduction, battle, and courtship, played out in a universe thronged with heroes, deities, and demons. Whoa, as old as the 4th century BCE. Wow, love it. More Washington Irving. This one is a different one, The Sketchbook. This one also includes Rip Van Winkle and Sleepy Hollow. Playing the hits. Yeah, I would like to have at least a very complete education of American literature. Ever since I read Moses Coit Tyler's book, History of American Literature until 1770, something like that. I'm like, it's a, like it or not, I'm a part of that tradition as a writer, and I want to know that picture. That's a canon I can at least get an idea of. But it's crazy. The first centuries, really, of American literature were very workmanlike. They were accounts of what was going on. There were some interesting things going on. Like, for instance, one of the original Jamestown colonists was translating Ovid during that time. What? And there was The Day of Doom by, I think, Reverend Wigglesworth or something like that, about how all the Puritans would get to watch the sinners burn. And it was very popular. All the Puritans were like, yeah. It's like Saw for them. The first American epic really was John Smith writing about Pocahontas saving his life. And yeah, that's some of the earliest writing. I mean, Columbus had letters. It's a real stretch to even say what is literature. And it shows you something of the wild character of the continent for a long time that nobody was really thinking much about it. And yet there was a play put on a long time ago, I think in the 1700s, an original play, but it was set not here. And there have been some interesting anomalies. There was a Puritan poet. What's her name? And she wrote poems for a little while and then just went back to being like a housewife. The old Puritan times. Wow, what was her name? Spacing. Speaking of American literature, I saw this internet map and it was like best book about all 50 states. And you could click on a state and it would tell you which one. And New Mexico's was Leave Her to Heaven. And I'm like, this has got to be written by AI, this list, because how would they even know this? They just Google searched New Mexico and found this old book. Because I've read this and, I mean, it's fine. But 1944, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Leave Her to Heaven. It's set like on a ranch in New Mexico. It's a really nondescript, unexciting setting. I don't think they did any research or came out here or anything. Maybe one trip out here. But I also feel like I didn't give it a chance. Maybe I didn't finish it or I skimmed it. I'm trying to remember. But I still feel like I should give it more of a chance. And it is kind of a New Mexico curiosity. I do kind of like to just have everything that's set in places that I know. I've read Growth of the Soil maybe 3 or 4 times, and so it's made me buy up everything else I see from him. Apparently he was not always a perfect public figure and wrote like a too kind obituary for Adolf Hitler. Great. Patent by Knut Hamsun. The back has a glowing long statement from Isaac Bashevis Singer. I loved his stories for children growing up. That was a very influential book on me. Especially the Elders of Chelm stories and Slata the Goat. There's so many good ones in there. Hamsun has the qualities that belong to the very great, the complete omniscience about human nature. Whoa. I mean, yeah, Growth of the Soil is special. That was H.G. Wells' favorite book. He also wrote Hunger about a starving artist. Pan. It's a great looking book. I really love books, you know. It's good not to like fetishize the books too much, you know. I was in my apartment once years ago, an old apartment. My son was over and the sirens went off in the middle of the night that there was a fire and there was smoke in the air. We got the heck out of there. And you have to really accept really quick that like your material possessions could all be gone in an instant. You literally have to be okay with it, you know? And I was happy that once I had my son and my laptop with my book on it, I was still, I'd only been working on it a few years at that point. We all got out of there safe. I was even able to grab some pants. You know, I had always said before that, if there's ever a fire, I'm going to save that framed Van Gogh newspaper. I showed it in another video. Book review of Letters to Theo. And I didn't think about it for a second, you know. Possessions are just possessions. Books are cool, but it's really more what they represent. Like, if people get a lot of value out of ebooks, cool. You know, I had Kindle for a little while. I did enjoy that. In the future, we'll probably like download books right to our brains, you know? No, that's too weird. Yeah, so is everything that exists now. Think about going back 500 years and thinking about right now. Now imagine 500 years forward, Congreve, The Way of the World. All I know is this book is a beautiful objet d'art. Love it. Is it a play? Yep, I think so. That's cool. Love a slim volume. Love a play. I'll read it. It looks like it probably fills some spot in the history of art, in the world. Probably British 1800s. That's my guess. Okay, this book is 1951. Boy, was I wrong on the date. The first quarto of The Way of the World appeared in 1700, the second in 1706. The play was included in the 1710 edition of Congreve's collected works. Okay, I believe that this is a collage novel, experimental one by Renata Adler. That's why I got it. Here's David Shields in this book, Heaping Praise on Speedboat. Yeah, love Reality Hunger. It's such a good book. That might be where I heard of this one, Speedboat. It's a strange book, kind of aphoristic, fragmentary. A lot of it's overheard, I believe, but artfully arranged. And started it once. I will finish it one day. I'll restart it. It's a far out piece of writing from the 70s. I love the avant-garde. And the New York Review of Books is a great reprint publishing company. Ugh, I can't praise this book enough. Death Comes for the Archbishop by Willie Cather. I read it because it's considered a canonical New Mexico text, and I live in New Mexico. I sure see why it's considered one. It's fantastic. Beautiful vintage classics edition. Love it. I mean, it's about this priest, kind of high ranking, eventually, based on Lamy, a Jesuit priest that was here in New Mexico and, became a big landowner. But it gave me new eyes for that whole era of New Mexico history. And it's well written. And it made me wonder, was Bernalillo famous for its brandy, its plum brandy in the 1600s? I haven't been able to find any other reference to it. It's like a little lost media history thing. I'm like, she could have just made that up. Bernalillo is a town near Albuquerque, founded when this area was first colonized by Oñate. Not 1600s, 1800s. Yeah, but this is a great book. I could just go off for half an hour just about this book. If you like light coming in obliquely through high windows, then you'll like the prose style of this book. It's good stuff. Very refreshing. I believe this is what cooking shows call a palate cleanser. I mean, just feels like, oh man. Read this if you feel cluttered up by a lot of noisy modern verbiage. It just all sweeps away. It's great. Death Comes for the Archbishop. Metal title too, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I've not read this one, but a bookseller of a pop-up bookstore told me this is one of his favorite books. I read 100 Years of Solitude. That was very good. Cool. Magical realism plus intergenerational. Love it. Very interesting. Well observed. Cool. This is a beautiful edition. I love the wraparound cover. Newsweek likes it. Okay, after I first read Ridley Walker by Russell Hoban, he also wrote the pretty delightful children's book series, Francis the Badger. My kids all love those. Or co-wrote them. After I read Ridley Walker, which is a post-apocalyptic novel of the world so far in the future that the nuclear destruction of most of the planet has since become conflated with the flaming sword of an angel at Eden. It's like the new origin story of the future, but they're all just about to rediscover gunpowder, and it's all gonna go from there. Ridley Walker's kind of got this second sight. It's great, man. That's a great book. I love it. And there's this whole, it's like got its whole vocabulary and future speak. It's pretty simple if you read it out loud. It's phonetic. I read it with the AV Clubs Wrapped Up in Books Club for the first time, and it was so good. Anyway, I don't know what this one's about, but I got it because I loved that one. This one is about, it's a first novel. Derives from an unusually vivid imagination. Sounds interesting. the category on the back of this book says nature/sports. I'm like, do I own any books like that? I'm Moby Dick by William Humphrey. It's all about trying to land a trout. In the Berkshire Mountains, Massachusetts. Melville would have liked it, says New York Times Book Review. Nature/sports. What? Hey, it looks like a beautifully designed book with, wow. Yep. Cool. Good job, past self, getting that. I'll read that someday. Raymond Carver, Uncollected Writings. Cool. Raymond Carver, let me tell you why I like Raymond Carver. I mean, yeah, I like his style, which was in large part a creation of his editor and very different from the style that he used normally. But I met this awesome guy named Jason back when I was doing the 7-month canoe trip around the circumference of Lake Powell in 1999 and 2000. And he was working at one of the marinas, Dangling Rope Marina. And he told me this great Raymond Carver story. He said he'd been living in like San Diego, some coastal California town, and just kind of walking around and living an aimless life, I think. And one night he was just walking around town, and there, near this crosswalk, was just a stack of Raymond Carver books. And he had never heard of Raymond Carver, but he picked them up and he went and sat in a light on the beach, beneath a street light or something, and just read all night long until the morning. He's like, from then on, he was one of my favorite writers. Like, that is such a great story. You were blessed with Raymond Carver. So, but I've since read him, and he's got some very good stuff. And I've seen some movies based on his work that I like Everything Must Go. His last essay was called Friendship. It's about a London reunion with Richard Ford and Tobias Wolff. Arranged chronologically, the book affords an intimate and comprehensive 30-year vision of a great writer in the process of becoming himself. Yeah, this sounds awesome. I love to read. I like to learn about writers, They're my weirdo tribe. Italo Calvino. I'd probably buy everything I see from him. It's an MC Escher cover or Escher inspired. It is MC Escher. It's a great image, great cover. Calvino's cool. You always know you're going for a ride with his work. And this book's kind of beautiful. I like it. Okay. Yeah. Well, here we are at the end of the video.